Oh,
Holy
we're
balls.
so back. Holy balls.
This is On Air with... Oh, geez. I mean, this is Almost On Air with Erica and John.
That is loud AF.
Yeah, we're back in the studio, baby.
We are back in the studio.
Live and in person.
This is Almost On Air. I'm Erica.
I'm John.
And we are still in person.
I mean, yeah, we've been in person. We haven't left being in person. We just...
haven't left each other in a while, and it's finally time
Too long.
to end this road trip with this podcast. So that's cool.
If you're listening to us for the first time, we just got back from a crossed California road trip.
I crossed California. It's kind of a weird way to put it.
We went vertically across California.
We did a tour of California.
Yeah, Tour de California. Wow.
Yep,
We missed that opportunity to call it that. So
that's okay.
We had a week that we just had some free time at work, and so we decided...
We're remote still. So
Right. So we decided we'd work remote and just go see some cities in California. So we took off to Napa in wine country, and the locals there showed us how they wine.
That's true. Not wine.
Both?
No, we didn't hear any.
I heard some whining.
WHI. That was all just me, though. I'm not.
Yeah,
a
mostly
local.
you. Then we took off to Lake Tahoe, California.
That's true.
One of the not Great Lakes, but Great-ish lakes.
Not one of the Great Lakes, but a Great Lake.
A Great Lake. Then we went to a significantly less great, yet maybe more beautiful lake, Donner, California.
Lake. A smaller. Why is it less great?
And just in terms of size. Because, sometimes size matters. And so
I'm going to start referring to you as less great than
Shaquille O'Neal. You would be correct.
I mean, probably,
That's
yeah.
my point. I'm just saying, if we're considering Great Lakes, the greatest lakes are the biggest lakes, and that's why they're the Great Lakes.
That's not why they're the Great Lakes.
I think it is. They're literally, we had a listener DM us as we were fighting about this, and she told us that literally when you're looking at the lake, you can't see the other side because they are so vast.
Oh, she did say that.
There are quite literally the greatest lakes, debatably in this entire northern hemisphere.
What do you know about the southern hemisphere that I don't?
I don't know my geography that well of the southern one, and so I'm just classifying our northern one here. The Great Lakes are the greatest lakes. Lake Tahoe is less great in terms of size, and Donner, less great than that.
Okay.
We checked out some greatish lakes. And then we finished off our trip in San Francisco, California.
That's right.
Tech center of the world.
That's the Silicon Valley.
Tech center of the United States.
The Silicon Valley is literally where I grew up.
Really?
So maybe San Francisco is considered part of it, but I think Silicon Valley is more south.
So why aren't you setting up this podcast gear? You should be tech savvy.
Because when you grow up with everyone around you being Silicon Valley tech dude or woman, you don't have to do it.
That's fair.
Yep.
So we have concluded our trip. We drove back to Los Angeles, California yesterday. Erica's leaving me in a matter of hours here, maybe a matter of minutes, depending on how long this podcast goes.
Depending on how much we fight in this podcast, it could be in the middle of it.
True that.
So
we are back here in our home studio in my bedroom. Sounds dope, but I'd say it is cool.
It's pretty dope.
Thanks.
I don't know if did I ever on the podcast reveal that I did in fact sign for an apartment in Los Angeles?
This is quite literally your third or fourth time mentioning that.
Oh my God. I think I have short-term memory loss.
I believe so. I'm surprised we even made it back in one piece.
Yeah. So anyway, the bright side is there'll be a second home studio available to us very soon.
I'm very excited for that. You can listen to, our documentary adventure of our road trip.
Literally just listen to the last 3 podcasts.
By listening to our last 3 podcasts.
Don't call it a documentary adventure.
It kind of sounds better than listen to our last 3 podcasts.
You can listen back to what we did on our road trip.
Still kind of less cool than a
documentary adventure is not a thing.
Well, it is the thing. You can listen to our last couple podcasts, and we pretty much podcast from every city that we stop in.
Not even. Oh, we didn't podcast in Donner.
Donner's essentially Lake Tahoe, though.
Yes, and it was a quick stop. Along the way. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We didn't kill each other.
Not yet.
I thought I knew you very well already, and I know you better now.
That is usually how things work when you spend time with someone.
I know, but it's like we've been doing this for almost 2 years. You would think that I would already know everything.
What is something you didn't learn about me? Or you didn't know before that you did learn about me?
Like personal stuff. Not like how you are as a person. Like I figured out how you are as a person.
Okay.
But we had some really deep chats.
We did. We had some extra hours doc talk.
Yeah.
And some additional pot in the park. Well, not the pot, though. More like
chatting in the park. Oh, I learned that you don't do cardio.
I don't do cardio.
And he
That's
was
the truth.
so mad because I walked him up hills in San Francisco to get to the park. Anyway.
I definitely don't do cardio, and that is definitely no secret. But I'd like to believe that in a serious situation, I'd be able to like push myself through whatever needed to happen. Like I pushed myself up that hill. In any dire situation.
It was not dire, though. It was like truly just a simple stroll.
A simple stroll in the streets of San Francisco that are all at least 50-degree angles.
Okay.
Perhaps more.
Okay. You said that you think that you could push yourself through any situation.
Yeah, 100%.
So that kind of brings me to what I want to ask you. And it's a little bit serious. But I was filling out some forms for my apartment and all of that. And they needed me to list an emergency contact. And I was wondering if I could put you as my emergency contact.
Wait, actually?
Yes, because who else? I really went through the thought process. My
Okay.
parents are...
So you're desperate, is what you're telling me. If
you're really my last
if you're
resort.
putting me on your emergency contact, you must be a form of desperation.
My feeling was my parents are not close enough to actually make a difference if something is urgent.
Fair.
Yeah. Neither are any of my siblings. My, I would say best friend in LA has 2 kids and is pregnant with a 3rd. She has too many things going on.
Okay.
And then that leads me to you.
Do you really put that much thought into your emergency
Not
contact?
usually, but when I thought about the fact that I'm going to be living alone, it just kind of was like, I should have an emergency contact that could be there.
Wow, and you trust that I'd be there? I would be there.
The problem is unless you were drunk, and then you wouldn't be able to get there.
I could Uber. I'd just bill you for it.
Oh my God. If it was a true emergency, you'd bill me for the Uber.
I mean, it just depends on how dire the situation is.
I'd probably take you out to dinner anyway as a thank you for whatever the dire situation is.
Okay.
What do you think is a situation where they call your emergency contact, though?
See, that's what I was wondering. I don't know of any circumstances in my entire life, and maybe it's just because I'm blessed to not have major injuries, but I don't know a situation in which an emergency contact was actually used.
Me either.
So, is it as big of a deal as we make it think to be?
I imagine, if you're filling out paperwork at the doctor, it is.
I mean, yeah, doctors.
Or, the dentist, or, anywhere that you, might have a weird situation.
Do you still put your mom for those?
Yeah, and it's why? She's not nearby. She's moving even further now because she's moving to Austin.
You know when you get to the point of a relationship where you put your significant other...
No, I don't, because I don't know what that's...
You've never gotten to the point...
I've never gotten to the point where my significant other is my emergency contact.
Wow. It's fun.
I wouldn't have trusted my last boyfriend.
Whoa. Wow.
And I would like to clarify
I feel like
that is not the last person I dated. That is my last boyfriend.
To me, that's already a red flag. If you could not trust your boyfriend as your emergency contact, you probably shouldn't be dating him. Yeah,
I shouldn't have been dating him. We all have covered that together here.
Known it in the moment, and you did not.
No, I mean, to be fair, we also were together just shy of 2 years, and I feel like, am I really going to put someone as my emergency contact after a year?
Yeah.
Oh, also, we had broken up and gotten back together. So,
Absolutely. I'd put my girlfriend on my emergency contact 6 months into our relationship.
Okay. Ooh, okay, maybe I do have issues.
I think you do. It's not you're not trusting them with it's not your will. You're not leaving everything to them. It's just hey, in a situation, who can you count on to call and figure some shit out?
But here's the thing. So then if you break up, which you ultimately did, is she still
as
listed?
Most people do,
as most people do. Is she still listed as your emergency contact on whatever you put her down on?
Of course not.
Are you certain that you know and changed it?
No. I don't remember the last time I needed an emergency contact.
Do you still trust that if something happened wherever this emergency contact is, do you still trust that if they called her, she would get it figured out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I trust pretty much anyone that I've ever dated. That in a dire situation, if I'm dying, which I guess they'd be faced with a choice. John's dying and he needs some help, or we let him die.
Right. No one's going to actually, no one would
I don't
let
know,
you die.
actually. I don't know.
But
yeah, I trust most people to be an emergency situation. If I had dated them long enough to become an emergency contact at one point,
then
they should know enough about my life to be able to reach out to my sister or my mom and be able to at least forward the help to someone else.
That's what's kind of funny is it's not like you have any of my sibling or family's phone numbers.
Definitely don't.
You've met most of them now.
I should have Dina's phone number. I feel like we could chat about some things.
I don't want you to be chatting about some things with my mom.
I kind of want to though. I could chat with your sisters too. I feel like I told one of your sisters over the weekend she was my favorite Sullivan.
Wait, what? Which one?
Christine.
You told her that?
Yep, on FaceTime.
Oh my God, I forgot we FaceTimed.
I said, you are my favorite sibling.
Wow, John has only not met my dad and your favorite, no.
I forgot what I said.
Your favorite sibling of my family? Oh my God, whatever. I hate you so much. But okay, so you'd be cool if you become my emergency contact?
Yeah, that's cool.
Because my thing is, it's like, we're not going to have we better not have a falling out to the point where you let me die.
Depends.
You wouldn't let me die.
No, I wouldn't let you
no
die.
matter what.
Of course not. No, emergency contact's a big deal. I do enjoy that. And I feel like my emergency contact is usually my sister because she's most likely to pick up her phone.
Right, but now she's moving across the country, so should she still be your emergency contact?
See, and actually that's a good point.
Thank you.
And my other point is sometimes you think it's your best friend, and I do think it's like I would put my friend Kyle, he's one of my roommates, as my emergency contact.
Sure.
But he's not always in the best state.
But you don't know how much you trust him.
Yeah, I don't know how much I trust him in a situation to pick up his phone and be coherent and like be
Right.
able to deliver on whatever is asked of him. You know,
That's true.
would I still put him? Maybe.
Would you put him over me?
At this point, probably not.
There you go.
But also maybe.
So are you going to change it from your sister now?
I guess we'll have to find out. So what about a will? Do you have a will?
I definitely don't have a will, no.
Do you have anything worth passing on?
No.
So like, what happens if you don't have a will?
I think like
Does your family just...
you technically have to list dependents.
Okay.
And my dependents are my parents. I am one of my sister's dependents
Nice.
because she was like, I don't know, if something happens, you can have it.
So you know how some people like keep a note in their wallet and they say, in case I
No.
die,
Call so-and-so?
yeah, call this person.
No, I've never known that.
Well, some people do.
Do you?
I know, but I used to. So I've said on this podcast, I used to like make videos on my phone, kind of like a journal.
Oh, yeah.
So I always wanted to journal when I was little, but I just like don't have the attention span nor the patience to sit there and write all my thoughts because I've already thought 100 things before I can get one sentence out. So I would take my phone, I'd hit record, and I would just record a video of like my documentation of myself.
Okay.
I would be like, this is what happened this day. This is kind of where my mental state's at. So that way one
Sure.
day I could look back at them, and I thought it was super cool. And once every couple of years, I would make a If I Die video.
When was your last?
Like a couple of years ago. Should probably make a new one. Should probably update it. Lots
'cause
changed.
Was the last one like, if I die, give my things to my ex-girlfriend?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
But
it was
at
even further back.
At the same time, though, I always got concerned because there's this big folder in my computer of all of those videos, and they're not labeled. So no one would probably ever even see the video.
You need to
know?
start labeling at least just those.
Yeah.
Like, if I die 2019. This is so
Is this
messed
sad?
up. Yeah. I don't want to think about anyone dying.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who I would give what to. What do you want? Probably-
Podcast equipment.
You better, yeah, you'd have to continue the podcast.
I can't talk about this. It makes me really sad.
I mean, it's all hypothetical.
Right.
I don't plan on dying for at least 80 years.
You can have my apartment if I die.
Wow. I don't think it works like that.
Probably not. I think they just clean up the apartment. And
I think you literally have to own the thing that you're giving. Like,
Yeah,
if you
I don't
own
own
payments
it.
on it, I feel like you don't own it completely yet.
I will never own that apartment.
Yeah, I couldn't give you my car.
Oh, you could have my car.
Oh, do you own your car?
Yes. Well,
I'd sell it.
Yes. What?
You don't even have a car USB port in your car.
What?
Literally had to bring my portable
Ever.
charger just to charge my phone on this entire road trip because you don't have a car charger.
Okay, so you just don't want my car. I can give my car to someone
No, I
else.
want it. I want to sell it.
No, I don't want to give it to you to sell.
Why?
You should drive it around and think of me every day.
Do you have an emotional attachment to your car?
Kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Like, I love my car. I
Okay.
love that it's a cute little black Jetta and her name's Stella.
And do you have a problem if I sold it and someone else gets to love this black Stella?
Kind of.
Why?
Fine, I'm gonna leave the car to
Me. No,
my,
you can't take it back.
To
You
my
can't take-
nephew.
Oh my god.
Because he's 7. So like in a couple years he'll be learning to drive. He can have the car.
Is there anything you would leave to an ex?
No.
Nothing?
Leave. Well,
What if it's something
God.
that they bought you?
Okay, I see where you're going with this because we got in a fight about this earlier. No, I don't think I would. Maybe just like I have 2 things in my possession from my last relationship, which it's complicated because I was just talking about my ex-boyfriend. This is a different person. And those 2 things, maybe I would like to go back to him.
Okay.
Just as like always cared about you.
So how many things from exes do you currently own at this time?
Not many. You know what's weird is I actually still have some. Anyway, I still have some things from my my high school ex-boyfriend. But
What kinds of things then?
I have jewelry that he gave me when I was.
don't think that's a problem.
No, it's not. It's just like I almost feel bad just throwing it away. It's not nice. But I also don't ever wear it, don't ever look at it, don't ever think about it.
Okay, so what is the point of keeping it then?
I just feel bad throwing it away.
For who? You
Him,
think,
I
You think
guess?
he's gonna know?
No, you're right. I should toss it.
Are you ever gonna tell him you still have it?
No. I have no intention of really ever crossing that line.
Yeah. So if you don't use it and it's not providing you any mental value, then like,
what does it matter?
what does it matter? Yeah, he doesn't know.
But no, I have jewelry from him, and then I have the 2 items that I said. And you guys, okay. You guys.
Yeah, I mean, what?
If you watched our Scottsdale stream with Carla Marie and Anthony from the Carla Marie and Anthony show and Jake and Ricky from 27 Doing Nothing podcast, you saw that they ripped me apart for still owning a t-shirt from my last dude.
Yes, but because of context.
But what was the context?
The context was you openly admitted in that podcast that things were not completely done in terms of...
But they are done.
They are done, but your emotional level of being over it was not completely done at the time.
Okay, and I do think that's changed a bit since.
Right, but at the time, you were not there yet.
There is still like an open door communication happening.
Don't even get me started. I'm just trying to keep this to the t-shirt that we were talking about.
But
at this time, you got some heat talked on you because... At this time, you openly admitted you were not completely over the relationship yet you still wore this t-shirt.
Only occasionally, like when it was the t-shirt that I was going to wear to bed.
How many t-shirts do you have in your dresser?
Okay, actually, to be fair, not a ton because I was living in
Arizona. Do you have at least one more t-shirt?
Yes.
Okay, that's my point. You didn't have to wear it, but you did.
What if I had worn that one other t-shirt for like 4 nights in a row and it was really time to wash it?
You wear it a 5th. I don't have a problem with you keeping t-shirts of your exes, and I don't even have a problem.
I'm just supposed to look at them?
I don't even have a problem of you wearing them. But I have a problem with it in the time period, in the time span that you were trying to separate feelings and move on from this said person.
I haven't worn the shirt since you guys railed me.
That's good, and you shouldn't. Until you're completely over it, and then you can look at that shirt and you have no feelings attached to it anymore, then wear it all the time.
What if the feelings are nice nostalgia?
I mean, do you want that?
Like positive look back on.
Okay, here, let me ask you this. If you get a boyfriend, are you still going to wear that shirt?
Probably not.
No? Okay. And that's my point.
Okay, so here, I have a question for you, John.
Absolutely.
What do you still have from exes?
I have a couple things from exes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just wearing one of them a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, those slides?
Yeah, you got me for them.
So, what?
You roasted me for them.
Oh, I was like, I didn't get them for you. Okay, so same exact issue. You're still wearing them. You're not over it.
Okay. 2 things are different. One, they were not her slides. I'm not wearing slides that belongs to her.
Okay, that's an intro. You got me on that one. You got me there. Yeah.
That is step 1. And 2, I believe they're like a birthday present or something. And so it was an item bought for me. And when I wear the slides, I'm not like thinking about my ex actively.
You're just thinking about the fact that your feet are comfortable.
Absolutely. And I think it's like if someone buys something for you, you can absolutely keep it. And if there's a time period where you can't wear this item that they bought you without thinking of them, then you should probably separate yourself from that item until you are over it or until you're at a place where you're not thinking about it. But then after that, I'm not going to lie, they are the most comfortable pair of slides I've ever owned. And I think it was a very nice thing for her to buy those for me. And like, we're all good, you know? The slides represent something good for me.
Oh, you and the slides are all
Yeah, I mean, the slides
I was like, you're lying to me, but all right.
Yeah, I don't have any harsh feelings towards the slides.
What else do you own from exes though?
I mean, I'm trying to like look around my room here. Not
I mean,
really
I'm
much.
looking at one thing that's kind of from an ex.
Which thing?
The guitar?
Oh, yeah. But I never actually dated that person.
Right, but enough that they gave you a guitar.
Yeah. But I don't think that was a present for me. She literally said, I'm donating this guitar. Do you want it?
Oh, okay.
And I said, absolutely. And it doesn't make me think of that person.
Okay. It just sits there.
Yeah.
And you just think about nothing.
I don't have any of my ex's clothing. And if I did, maybe that'd be fine, but I'd need to distance myself from it. Also, I don't really typically wear girls' clothes.
Right. I was like, also, it's different for guys because you don't like, you would never wear a t-shirt of theirs.
Actually, I mean, literally the t-shirt I'm wearing right now, I got on a trip with my ex.
And that doesn't make you feel?
I know. I didn't realize it until this very moment.
I
had a great time in Nashville. It's a Nashville t-shirt. We had a great time together. And like, I don't have any ill feelings about that trip.
I said the fond memories. The like, it was a great, but you're saying that shirt doesn't make you think of that until you think about it.
Right. And there was probably a good couple months where I definitely would not wear this shirt.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I feel like I feel like I have no debate on this.
I know. I'm usually right.
I usually don't keep things from exes. In fact, the one that we all really dislike, I brought him a bag of his things back.
Nice.
And said, here you go, and collected all my things and took them back because I had I lived there half the time basically. So I got all my stuff back, and that was the day that I was like, I know what you did. You know?
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
And like if you have a mutually well falling out with someone, like again, you can still keep those.
Mutually well falling out?
Yeah, mutually
if you have a pretty mutual breakup?
Yeah, there you go.
Like a falling out is not positive.
Yeah, I guess.
So.
But like I don't mind keeping those things. Like do you keep letters that were written to you by an ex?
Okay. Are you attacking me?
No, I was. Oh yeah. I forgot on a road trip you actually told me about a letter that you kept.
Yeah.
But generally speaking.
Like birthday cards and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that those things are really meaningful. But here's the thing. I don't know if I have any from anyone except the one I told you about, which was not a birthday card. It was kind of a gift.
Okay, yeah.
It was like an inside thing.
I keep letters. I don't actively go look at them, but...
Do you ever read them, though? Because it is interesting. Like, we hold on to things, and if we don't ever look back at them...
So, I don't, like, actively go searching for them, but I remember sometime... I forgot when I was deep cleaning my room, and I was going through a box, and I'd found a letter from, I think, like, my high school girlfriend or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool to look at. I was like, oh, my God, how cute was this place? Like... It was like my very first relationship ever. Like,
yeah.
I don't think any of us like were actually ever in serious love.
Okay.
Like, it was a great relationship. Like, nothing bad happened. We just went to different colleges, and it was cool. I was like, oh, I remember that. Like that's a good memory without tugging at any deep rooted feelings.
Yeah.
You know?
I think at one point I found some old letters from like my high school ex as well, but it was so far removed that it didn't matter.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I feel like I don't mind keeping those kinds of letters because they are a place point in your life.
Yeah. I do have yeah. I have a hard time thinking about letting go of this one in particular that we just said I have. But I'm like, but is that proof that I should get rid of it?
No.
Or is it just proof like don't look back at it, which I haven't.
Yes, I would say that's something because I do think that the letter you're talking about was given to you, and I hate just dancing around.
I know.
Story. And it's a great story. Maybe you should just tell it.
Maybe eventually.
Okay. Not ready yet, and that's fine. But I do think it was given to you in a very heartfelt way.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's something that you should keep, but like you can't visit it for a while.
Yeah.
You know?
And I haven't.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked at it since maybe once since we broke up.
Nice.
So.
How was that time you did?
Well, so we broke up the week that I was moving to Arizona.
Nice.
It was not my best week. And so it was like I was packing things and putting them away. And so I think I read it then, but like I don't remember it being awful. I just remember that whole week being awful. So
good.
It wasn't extra awful because of the letter. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was
I don't want to talk about it.
I know you don't, and that's exactly why we're going to.
John and I got in a legit fight last night.
All of my roommates pretty much attacked you at the same time last night.
And that sounds weird.
I mean, yeah, verbally. Because we have discovered, and here's my question to you is, you got to be honest with your friends, right? And you'd want your friends to be honest with you about things, right?
Yeah, John.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you have to agree with their honesty.
If it's honest and it's the truth, and we've decided Erica's kind of toxic.
I'm not kind of toxic.
Toxic traits.
I think I'm an incredibly emotionally mature woman.
Perhaps. And maybe the jury's still out. Maybe we're wrong about this because we were fighting and you were just talking to dudes, and it's possible that men have a different perspective on this than women. It's very possible. However, I think that in general, taking a step back from that, this is a toxic trait. So I forgot how we got on to this topic, but
we were I think somehow you guys, and look, we've talked about this. I'm such a girl's girl that sitting around and talking with dudes about relationships is fascinating for me.
Yeah.
Because I've never had so many like sounding boards for it. We were talking about girls getting mad at you for not texting back for hours, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And you said, no, the only time I got mad is when I would wake up and I didn't have a text from the person I was talking to at the time. And you would say that because at this time it was a long distance relationship.
Yes.
And he was 3 hours ahead of you.
Okay, to be fair, I would be internally upset. I never like got mad at him for it, which I think makes me less toxic.
But I think that you don't realize that some of the ways you act seem annoyed. Even if you're not directly being mean to him.
Do you mean like me and me specifically?
Yes,
or?
I think you don't realize it, but he will pick up on some of those signs that you are annoyed. Even if you're not actively trying to show it. And it was interesting because as you told me that even though he's 3 hours ahead, you expect to have had a text in the morning, because if he doesn't text you in the morning, that's an issue. And I said, that's toxic.
That's not toxic.
That's toxic.
So you think that every single morning then I should be the one who says, hey, good morning?
No, I think you guys should trade off. And if he's never texting you first, then yes, that's
well,
an
maybe
issue.
that was the problem.
Was he never texting you first?
Not never, but like.
I just feel like at some point in the day is fine. It doesn't need to be first thing in the
But
morning,
I'm not
Erica.
saying.
Like maybe he got a rough start to his day, or maybe like I do sometimes, I just like need to wake up
Jump
and vibe.
into work. Okay, wake up and vibe. Oh, you're getting a phone. Oh, I'm getting a phone call.
You are getting
Oh
a
well.
phone
I don't.
like
this
that
makes
constant need
No, but
of
this makes it sound a lot worse than it was.
Okay.
Because it's not like I was like, oh my God, he didn't text me. I'm going to be rude today. It was like, oh, he didn't text me. Like, maybe I should question everything.
You're right. That sounds so much better. Now that you say it like that. It's
If
just
you want your girl to feel super secure and super steady, you should just do little things to make them feel
but
that
why
way.
do you need that security from him?
No, I
A lot of
mean
that
in your
should-
relationship.
Yes, and you shouldn't need that security from just needing that constant communication and reassurance all the time.
But it's so hard to explain when I don't want to tell all the details.
So tell all the details then.
I just think that
Now, if there are other issues that fed into it, then yes, that's something different. But this one in particular, I feel like shouldn't be as big of an internal deal as it is.
don't you think that you've dated people before who would like some reassurance sometimes?
Absolutely. And,
Don't you
and-
think it's justified?
And I think it's justified. Absolutely. It's
so
fair
what's your
to ask for
problem
reassurance.
with
But every morning I start to be annoyed if I don't have a text.
you're saying it worse than it is.
What's different about it?
I was drunk when I said this last night, so
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't
so-
an accurate representation of how I felt.
Also, as soon as she said that, all of my roommates were like, toxic. Erica's toxic. And you got so mad that you're like, I can't be in this room right now. I need to go take a lap.
I did take a lap.
You walked out. You washed your face.
Yep.
You got a drink of water.
Because there's no way that I'm going to logically explain something, one, when I'm drunk, and two, to three dudes who all agree with each other.
That's fair.
Like,
That's
there
fair.
was no way I was going to win that or that me even make you guys understand. You're still not understanding me now because you're so focused on what you think the issue is
Perhaps.
that you're not actually listening to me saying, no, it wasn't actually like that.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. If you needed reassurance about the relationship, there are other things you...
Are you saying I should have gotten out of the relationship?
No, I mean, and maybe if you're not getting your needs met, that's one thing. But there are other ways to be sure of your relationship and get that reassurance than these kinds of things. You know? I feel like
Sure.
the texting thing shouldn't be the way you get reassurance from your relationship always.
What about if they hypothetically say, I'll text you in the morning, and then they don't?
Okay. Like, if that happens every day, yeah, maybe that's starting to be a problem. But like, it shouldn't be a deal. Like, you wake up, you're having a day, and like, are you guys in a relationship? I'm just going to say for the sake of this
for
podcast.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah. If you guys are in a relationship and you're both happy and you both trust each other and you both do have communication
It
at some
wasn't
point
a
during the day.
non-trust thing.
Exactly. Then like, what did you need from that message in the morning?
Just a little hello.
Why?
I like to talk to my people.
Did you want to like know that he was still thinking about you? Did you want to know that you're a priority maybe?
Maybe the priority thing.
It's like you wanted to feel like a priority in his day, that when he woke up, he knew he had all these things to do, but he'd appreciate it if he knew that text meant something to you, so he would send it.
Why do I feel like I'm going to start crying? I really am like, because I'm like, yeah, that's probably what it was. It's like,
I do
I
think so.
always knew he was like so busy. So we didn't, also, reminder, long distance. So we didn't spend time together every day at all.
Right.
We very rarely spent time together in person. So
That does come with more communication needed.
yes. So like if I knew, which I every single day of the week was freaking insane for him, then yeah, I wanted to know I was a priority and that I was like being thought of.
But he was like dating you at the time. Like that wasn't enough?
Okay, so you want to date someone who you don't see for months at a time.
And
sometimes.
like I said, the communication is fine and you do need more communication, but the first thing in the morning, you know?
It's not the first thing in the morning.
For you it is, you know?
I'm not gonna win with you, but I do think I have some really good points here. Is like
You do. And you're
given all the circumstances of what it was,
right.
I would hope for the like check in. Hey, miss ya.
I do think your needs are validated. I just think it's
You mean
valid.
valid?
Yeah, valid.
Validated is like your needs are Yes.
Okay, whatever. Valid or validated.
Yeah.
I do think that is the case, but I also think that expecting text consistently at a certain time is a setup for failure, especially.
Sure.
And maybe I'm just thinking for myself here because I'm a very one-track mind person. I get distracted easy, and like someone can be a priority while I have other things going on in my life, and it would be nice for them to know that they're a priority and still not trip when I do forget those things,
I
because I do have
understand
many priorities.
the setup for failure thing. I
Yeah.
get that. But a text can take 5 seconds to say, hey, I miss you, or hey, love you. Can't wait to talk to you later. Okay, we didn't say love you. But like anything, hey, let's FaceTime tonight at 8. Just so you're like, hey, what's up? Good to, hey. I need some people to back me up here on this.
I do think this is an interesting conversation because I think it's a common guy-girl debate. I really do.
And I'm not someone who has to text all throughout the day, all the time. I actually have 2 friends that I often text throughout the day, all the time. So I don't actually need that from the guy I'm dating. But I actually prefer when we don't, because then we have things to talk about.
Right. I do agree with that.
When we are like in person. But I need to not feel ignored for an entire day.
And for an entire day, you shouldn't be. I just think
Yeah.
if that text comes at noon, that's fine.
That would be fine.
Oh, we're making progress.
But
Look at us.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you about to do?
I'm
see
just
you
going to
pulling
send
up
us
the
to a quick
soundboard.
commercial break. I have one
Okay.
exciting thing I want to get to.
Okay.
I've learned something amazing, and I have been so
You've
excited
been waiting
to
to
share
tell me this. Okay.
So excited.
All right.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're so back.
We are.
Astronomically back.
We didn't come to a conclusion on that, by the way.
I don't think we're gonna.
I would love to, if you have some like,
I do think we should maybe revisit this after we get some.
if you
Feedback.
have some thoughts, I want both from men and women. And if there are men who expect good morning conversations or who always send the text, like I just kind of want to know the brain set, the mindset of both I send them or I receive them and I expect them, or who really cares?
Yeah, and I think there will be outliers on both sides too. I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be all men that are just like, no, it doesn't matter. You know
No,
what I mean?
I from knowing some of our listeners, like through messages and stuff, I know there will be some men who are like, no, the girl gets what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there will be.
So what'd you learn?
So I learned, and I
I'm
probably
not allowed to look at your screen now,
That's good.
right?
Please don't look
Okay.
at the screen
Okay.
because it will blow everything.
Okay.
So TikTok is just an engine of information.
Oh, is it
you know?
now?
It's just
Yeah.
a sea of information you can learn so many things from.
Yes.
And I came across this TikTok video that I thought was very interesting, and I didn't know how I didn't know this before. And
You
this
didn't
probably
know how you didn't. Okay.
and I probably should have shared this prior to our road trip or on
What?
our road trip, but I did not. We just
Okay.
didn't have. Would
Is it
say
like a road trip hack or something?
essentially?
Okay.
So, did you know that the way a
Okay. Really good explaining already.
the name of a street, not the name of it, but the kind of street that it is, whether
Like
it's
a
a street,
freeway,
boulevard,
a parkway, okay.
way, drive. Did you know that all of those different things mean something about the path that it's on?
No. So
I
like
didn't
all streets
either.
are in this certain category.
Yes.
All boulevards are in a category. Okay.
So what and I want to say street, but when I say street, I don't actually mean, like I say an actual street, but like if you're on First Street, the
That's
street at the
street.
end is what I'm talking about.
Okay. But if you're on Strawberry Lane, you're still saying street here
Yes.
for this time. Okay.
Is there a better word I could use for that?
I don't think so.
Because road is in here too, so I can't say road.
Right.
Road means something specific.
Okay. Just
You know?
go with street. We'll understand.
Path also means something specific.
And like,
Transportational avenue means something specific. So whatever it is called means something. And I
Okay.
thought it was so interesting, so I looked it up online,
Okay.
and I'm going to tell us what they all mean.
how many are there?
There's quite a few,
Okay. Let's do this.
and I'm very excited. And
I'm really excited.
most follow these rules, but not all. But on our road trip, and maybe as you're going through, and maybe whatever you live on, whatever definition you live on, will make a little bit more sense.
Okay.
So first, we're going to start off with street.
Okay.
Now, a street is a public way. I guess they use way here, but there's also a way later. A street is a public way that has buildings on both sides of it. It's
Sure.
perpendicular to an avenue.
What?
So a street and an avenue
Have to-
should never be parallel.
They always cross paths.
They always cross paths.
Okay.
Insane. They typically run east to west, but not always, and they're typically in a city, but not always. So the biggest thing about a street is that it's perpendicular to an avenue, and it typically has buildings on both sides
Or
of it.
it does have buildings on both sides.
Yes.
Okay.
An avenue is also a public way that has buildings or trees on either side of it. It usually runs north to south, but not always. But it's most common because it's perpendicular to a street.
Okay. It's interesting that trees are an option because if it's not buildings or trees, what is on the other side? A meadow?
Dirt,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
people,
No, people, it's not like a
cows.
We saw so many cows. I was so excited.
So next is a road.
Okay.
Now, a road can be anything that connects 2 points. It's the most basic of the naming conventions.
So something that maybe should have been called a street could be called a road.
Could be a road.
Okay.
If they don't know what to call it, or maybe they got too many streets,
Right. Or just too many avenues.
you call it a road.
It's a
A
road.
road can be pretty much anything.
Okay.
A boulevard.
Oh, I'm about to move on to a boulevard.
Nice. So your boulevard will be a street with trees or vegetation lining on both sides.
No.
And it should have trees in the middle.
Well, so what's interesting though is if you think about it, they were named a long time ago. So
Right.
maybe my street used to be that and
So-
it is no longer.
So there are not trees on both sides of your boulevard.
No, there's apartment buildings.
And no trees.
There's
I have an
there's
issue with the city of
probably
LA.
trees.
I'm calling Mayor Garcetti.
There's probably trees, but I'm not saying like lining.
Okay. Does that
Yeah.
still count? I
I-
kind of think yes.
I'll have to drive down my street again and see.
Okay. Or you're right.
Sorry,
Maybe
not
it
my
was-
street, my boulevard.
Maybe it was named so long ago that.
That the apartment buildings weren't there yet.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. A drive. A drive is a long winding road that has its route shaped by its environment. It's usually by a lake or a mountain. So I thought about this, and I've lived on 2 different streets that were drives, and they were in hills.
Ah,
Isn't that insane?
that's fascinating.
I know, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Then a lane is a narrow road often found in a rural area.
Rural.
It's basically, is that what I said? Rural.
We're not doing this again.
It's basically the opposite of a boulevard. So it's not going to have the vegetation on both sides, and it's often found in areas that are not in cities.
Oh, so boulevards are generally in cities then,
Typically, yes.
which makes sense.
Then we have the court.
Oh, yes.
Now, court is a type of road that has an end. It can either be a T intersection end or something like a cul-de-sac.
I feel like I've only ever seen courts that are cul-de-sacs.
Same.
What's interesting, though, is I lived on a cul-de-sac when I was younger, and it was a road.
Wow.
I know.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Okay. I'm going to be pissed if this doesn't check out 90% of the time.
I
like,
mean,
if you're going to make
but
these...
a road can be anything. So,
True. Wait, you're so right. Oh, my God. It's all making sense.
God, you're like pushing me out of the way to look at your notes.
So a circle usually circles around an area, but it could also be an open area intersected by multiple roads or a cul-de-sac.
that means nothing to me.
Yep, me neither. We're
Okay.
moving on. Place. Park Place. Place is similar to a court. It is
What-
short and skinny, and it comes to a dead end or a cul-de-sac.
What is Park Place?
Like Monopoly?
Oh,
Park Place? It's like
okay.
the most expensive.
Short and
Boredom.
skinny road that comes to a dead end.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. A way is simply a small side street or an out-of-the-way road.
Okay.
A trail, usually located near woods
Huh.
or a wooded area. A highway is a major public road, usually connects different cities. So I live next to Imperial Highway,
Yes.
and it's like,
It connects cities.
yes, it connects cities. It's
But
like
it's interesting because it still has like stoplights on it.
on parts of it. And there are parts that don't, and the speed limit's 65, and it appears to be a freeway, but it's not a freeway.
It's kind of like the one that goes up and down the
Yes.
coast.
Wait, that's a highway. Yeah.
Yep.
Pacific Coast Highway. Yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense. That checks out.
Yep.
Whoa. And then a freeway is a specific type of highway with at least 2 lanes on each side and has no tolls or intersections. So there you go.
There you go.
To be a freeway, you can't have tolls or intersections.
Well, now we know.
And now you know. What kind of street do you live on?
I'm
What kind of boulevard?
actually dying that this is the thing that you've been just dying to tell me for so long.
What do you mean? Is this not interesting?
I mean, it is interesting. It is.
I'm trying to
Ooh,
think.
my
I live
teeth
on a
just-
road, which is like, that just makes me think that they're lazy. You
that
know?
they were like, we're not sure what to call it. Maybe because it's long and they're like, it is perpendicular to an avenue, but then in this area it's not.
Oh, maybe. So they're
I'm
like-
just pulling things out of my ass.
I mean,
Information.
I kind of want to know. I want to be there when they decide to name streets.
So my grandfather was a real estate developer, as
Nice.
you know, and there is a part of town that I think he picked the names of the streets for.
Wow.
It's been so long since I've like heard that story that I could be lying. But I know there was he was involved in like developing the area, which includes naming streets.
I
So
want to name streets.
Would you name them all like Kumuchi Road? Or
Oh, imagine. That'd be
Yeah.
so sick. I feel like there are too many main streets, but Main actually makes sense.
Yeah, like that's like for the middle of downtown.
Yeah.
So
But it's a street.
sure.
Yeah. So that means there's an avenue somewhere perpendicular to it. I'm going to go
That's
adventuring
true.
after this podcast.
Yeah, you're gonna go on a walk and just figure out what everything is.
Well, that's it for me today. Is there anything else you wanted to add in before we close?
No, I'm just, still annoyed with you.
That's fair. It will never change. And hey, if you're listening and maybe this is your first time listening to us, I hope you enjoy the show. And if you liked what you're hearing today, you should check out some of our friends who are even better,
That's true. They are.
who are less annoying. You can check out Ricky and Jake on the 20-somethings Doing Nothing podcast.
Yep.
And you can check out Carla Marie and Anthony on their My Day Friday podcast.
And their Carla Marie and Anthony show on Twitch.
And the Carla Marie and Anthony show on Twitch.
Stay tuned because soon we're kind of in the planning process right now. We're doing our cross podcast husband swap coming up.
We are also rapidly approaching our 100th,
Our 100th episode.
of
I
Almost
know.
On Air.
So it'll be in 2 weeks is our 100th episode. So we're going to try to plan something cool. But there might be a live stream involved with the whole podcast switch thing. So just there's a lot coming
Good
up.
things to come.
Check out our Instagram at Almost On Air.
There'll be details there, and you can check out video for our podcast on YouTube. It's posted typically the same day we post our podcast, which is every Friday.
Okay, bye.